There have been, if I remember correctly, 6 extinction-level events on the planet since life began. I mean, 6 times. Large portions of life. Not human life we're talking. We're talking just life. Gone, destroyed. We're headed for another one. Scientists have said if we don't hurry up and change our ways, there's going to be a cataclysmic event that will wipe many of us off the face of the earth.
If there is one thing people should understand about Morgan Freeman, it is that he does not like being pushed into certain political conversations just because of his background. He is Morgan Freeman, a legendary actor and storyteller, not someone who exists just to represent one opinion or one group. But it seems like the people at The View forgot that. They brought him onto the show, and instead of letting him simply talk about his work, they turned the moment into something uncomfortable. First, they only gave him around 5 minutes. 5 minutes. That is less time than many people spend waiting for their food to heat up. Then, rather than really talking about his new documentary, they tried to pull him into a political discussion. It was almost like inviting a great writer over and then asking him to fix your social media posts instead. But don't just listen to me. Let's look at what happened and see why the whole thing became so awkward.
It is because life is tenacious. Life. We're not talking about human beings here. We're talking about the planet.
Yeah.
She'll stay.
Yeah.
Well, it's tenacious if we would just leave it alone. Leave it alone. And the human interruption of all of that is what's causing all the problems. I hope that it's not too late.
The View really took a risky step when they started this conversation with Morgan Freeman. And honestly, if you're going to challenge someone, he is probably not the person you want to underestimate. This is the same man who could describe a simple walk in nature and make it sound like the most important moment in history. Yet here they were, trying to question him while he was simply there to talk about his documentary, Life on Our Planet. Now yes, documentaries about nature and history can easily become connected to bigger social and political topics. The environment and race discussions often create strong opinions. But let's slow down for a moment when talking about climate issues. The idea of the planet facing complete destruction is a much bigger claim. Major natural disasters on that scale are extremely rare and usually happen over huge periods of time. Dinosaurs faced their own problems long ago, but that does not mean every human action will instantly lead to another disaster from space. Human impact on climate has been a concern for around the last couple of centuries. So yes, the planet is changing, and yes, it deserves attention. But sometimes the discussion can become so dramatic that it sounds like the world is ending tomorrow. Even serious climate predictions talk about warming that is concerning, but not exactly a movie-style end-of-the-world situation. The bigger debate is that some environmental conversations can sometimes sound like they blame humanity itself, almost as if people are the bad guys in a story. Watching the panel, some viewers felt that kind of message coming through. It was a mix of fear, warnings, and making people feel guilty.
I want to ask you about a different documentary.
Go ahead.
As some politicians around the country try to erase Black history, you're making sure people don't forget vital parts of our past, including this documentary that you executive produced called 761st. Did I get that right? Yeah, 761st Tank Battalion, the original Black Panthers, about the first Black battalion to fight in World War II.
First Black Armored Battalion.
Yes.
And that is the point. When the planet becomes the main character of a story, sometimes people start getting painted as the enemy. That is the direction Joy Behar seemed to take the conversation, following a common argument from some environmental activists. You could almost imagine Morgan Freeman thinking, "This is not where I expected this discussion to go." That was not the main reason he came on the show, and it was probably not the message he wanted connected to his documentary. The truth is, most species that have ever existed on Earth are already gone. Dinosaurs, ancient creatures, and many other forms of life disappeared long ago. Life on this planet has always changed. Species come and go, but the Earth itself has survived many huge events. It has gone through ice ages, impact from space, and countless changes over time. And here is something surprising. There are even some people online who believe humans should disappear completely so the planet can be saved. The idea is basically that people should leave the stage so Earth can continue without us. It is like saying, the problem is not one person, the problem is everyone. This is what happens when a good idea, like protecting nature, gets pushed into an extreme position. Morgan Freeman clearly does not seem interested in that kind of thinking. Caring about the Earth is one thing, but most people also want humanity to have a future on it.
And start in the 40s and move up. And how many times did I see black people in the movies? And if I did see them, what were they doing?
Yeah. There were servants.
Servants.
They were always. I
Yeah.
know it's appalling.
I can give you the name.
If you watch old movies, Betty Davis movies are particularly, even though she's great, and
It's the period
It's not her
of time
fault.
that
It's
the
the
movies
period.
were made.
Yeah. It's
just what
upsetting
they
to
were
watch.
doing.
Tell you the
Well,
truth.
it shouldn't be that way
It
because
is.
somebody did make money.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And there it was. That's the time.
You could almost feel the uncomfortable mood during that panel. It seemed like everyone realized they had just been challenged by Morgan Freeman, and nobody wanted to be the first person to react. The man has a presence that fills the room without him even trying. And what happened? They only gave him 5 minutes. 5 minutes is barely enough time for someone like him to explain a full idea, let alone discuss an entire documentary. It felt less like a proper interview and more like a rushed conversation where someone kept trying to place a message onto him. Then came another moment where Sunny Hostin appeared to take a similar approach with another documentary topic about Black history. Different subject, but a familiar pattern. They seemed to want Freeman to become the face of a larger message they were trying to discuss. But he calmly pushed back. It was like inviting a famous chef to cook and then giving him something completely unrelated to work with. The whole situation showed that they may have misunderstood what Morgan Freeman actually wanted to talk about. He does not need someone else to create his meaning for him. His career already speaks for itself.
How are we going to get rid of racism until...
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man.
You cannot force someone to see themselves as helpless if they have already decided they will not live that way. And that is one reason many people admire Morgan Freeman. He carries himself with the confidence of someone who refuses to let other people define his story. If you doubt that, look back at his older interviews, where he often explained his views with calmness and simple logic. His way of speaking has always made people listen because he does not need to shout to make a point. The people on that panel also did not really have a strong response to what he said. And it is easy to understand why. Morgan Freeman has lived through many different periods of American history and culture. Born in 1937, he has watched society change in many ways across decades. That kind of personal experience cannot simply be found in a quick online search. It shapes the way someone sees the world. His point is that art reflects the time and culture that created it, and culture keeps changing. Something that feels new and powerful today might be viewed differently years from now, and that is part of how history works. Looking at the past only through today's standards can sometimes ignore the people and moments that came before us. You respect history by understanding it, not by pretending it happened in a different time. And it seems likely that Morgan Freeman would want the same thing for his own legacy. When people remember him, they will remember the full story of who he was, not just a version shaped by whatever argument is popular at the moment.